Welcome back to you, baby doll pumpkins. Time is the fourth dimension and it rinses everybody in crypto. We're going to go through. This is the total 3 altcoin index. It is very special because it removes Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we don't even really need to go into specifics because we are still going to get the information we need from any chart in crypto as everything is correlated. We want to know how much time has passed in crypto so far. Have we gone through enough pain? I can't guarantee you of anything except our friendship, that I have a straight back. And yes, I have a very cold glass of water right now. And I want you to know at the end of the day, if you wait long enough, you seem to come out okay in crypto. I know we want a more concrete answer than that, but let's go through the past. Zombie virus came 800 days after the top. I would like to remind you not to focus on the zombie virus. I want you to have a look at this. This is the total 3 index. It excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. Look at this. It was from the top to the zombie virus, which was the final end. And please, I'd like to ask you to suspend belief. Just remove zombie virus out. It would have happened even without the zombie virus. Do you see this tiny little jippy part at the bottom? You can remove that. We would still have faked everybody out and come up. I promise you. Markets always do this. The different catalysts that you think matter, they don't actually matter. It's all about human emotions. We are going through the passage of time. Now, we spent 800 days down. Wouldn't you like to know, are the coins we're holding, have they had enough time to capitulate? It all depends on how early they peaked. I have examples here. I have ChainLink and I have the Hex and Pulse Chain ecosystem. They're very interesting to look at. So here we go. We have a good sign for how long it takes to rinse weak hands. Seems to be this 800-day mark. Here we go. Hex peaked in September of 2021. We're going to go through the chart more in detail. So we need to get to about November of this year, 2023. ChainLink peaked earlier. It was about April 2021. So it's due for a rally now. Now, of course, when I say this, people get a bit excited. They go, why aren't we going up? Why aren't we going up? You know, to be intellectually honest with yourself, we don't get these nice, clean moves in crypto. Here is the actual chart. I have it here presented to you. If we go back in time, we can change it to a weekly. You can see the time it took for the high to come back to the high. This might be another measure, but it seems like such a long time. 1,134 days. If you really wanted to look at how long that is, that's about 3 years, which would suggest, for example, ChainLink, Hex, and all these other altcoins, it would suggest that that we would only be re-breaking the high in about April to September of 2025. Which seems like a very long time, friends. So this is just the truth. But before we focus on that, let's just focus on getting the worst of it behind us. So if you go to the top, we just measure down, it took about 800 days. What I'm going to do now is just show you the Hex chart, for example. Because Hex peaked in September, if we go down to today, we've only done about 640 days in jail. I understand this is painful, and yes, I wanted to come as well, but the 800-day mark would be about November this year, November 2023. This 800-day mark would be probably the final end. However, it's interesting to note that just because the 2018 and 19 bear market made their certain patterns doesn't mean we necessarily are going to have one similar as well. But it could mean that, for example, Hex and all our other coins just go back to another part. We have another little faker and we go up. So this is the part about markets that's very interesting. Sometimes when you get an insane amount of pain, which is what the Hex chart shows here, when you see this, it usually means the market rewards you. Because we've gotten rid of so many weak hands, we can seem to just glide up. There will be a little rinsing, but it's not as bad as you really think when you go forward. Now, Hex maybe it will pay for its sins for peaking in September of 2021. I'm going to now show you another coin. Maybe you've heard of it. ChainLink, for example. If we go and look at ChainLink, ChainLink peaked earlier. ChainLink peaked in April of 2021. And by the way, ChainLink is like basically, it's just a carbon copy of every single other altcoin in the top 100. So here we have This was actually May 2021, roughly where it is. And if we go down towards where we are now, we've done 770 days. So when you get back to the 800-day mark, it's roughly July this year. So this zone of time gives you an idea of how long it takes in crypto to absolutely wash every single person. It does not mean at the very end there's a final capitulation. It doesn't mean that. It just means by the time you get to that point, it's okay to go up from now. That's what we saw from the chart before. So I'd like to remind you, the stories, the narratives, what we see in journalists, articles, everybody saying it's over, all of those are irrelevant. I understand interest rates, macroeconomy, are they printing, tightening, scamming? I promise you, they don't matter. You look at the charts. The charts will tell you everything. You will always hear this trading adage of, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. That's exactly what's happening now. ChainLink has been rinsing for such a long time. In my experience in markets, if you believe in something, if something disappoints you and then it rinses for a long time, it does not mean you go up only. But what it does mean is when you do begin to go up, when there's a general market-wide slowdown, what you'll find is your coin, because you had such a long time in the jail, in the pain, what you'll find is your corrections are a bit more shallow and you return back to strength a bit faster than everybody else. That's what I'm just here sharing you the information and the knowledge. So why this is important is a lot of people will puke and give up. So I'm going to have to do the nasty vomit emoji. There is a little vomit emoji. Okay, so people will puke their positions and they'll get out because what they believe is, they believe that because we've gone through a lot of pain, we should start going up super strong. It doesn't work like that. The market takes a while for it to figure out that there are no more weak hands left. It takes a while to do that. So just wanted to let you know, I expect when ChainLink goes up, it's just not going to be as dipsy-doozy and pooped on as it goes on. It's going to be a fluffy slipper, whereas it's not going to be with the school of crumpled slippers. So, of course, the harsh reality is, remember, it took 1,130 days for it to reach the all-time high. This is in the previous cycle. So, if we get back here, it's somewhere deep in 2024, 1,300. Here we go, around here. The end of 2024, somewhere in 2025, I will often add time just because it's scary. It's scary because you think of the more liquidity, more quant funds, diminishing returns, the market starts to understand how to price things. So yes, of course, it would be fantastic if we knew at the exact time when we're going to smash the all-time high. So if I just drew a line here by the end of 2024, it would be fantastic if we go up and then suddenly we start doing that big move. But there's no guarantees in this game and we know it. So this is with ChainLink. By the way, just to remind you, this ChainLink chart is the same as many others. I mean, you can have a look at, for example, Polkadot, right? And I've mentioned Polkadot because for some reason they escaped the wrath of the SEC targeting. You see, Polkadot's got the exact same chart. You can even look at Solana. How about Solana? It's probably got the same chart as everything else. We're going to have a look here. Yes, Solana. Everything's got the same chart, friends. It's crypto. We go up together, we go down together. All we can do is try to guess who's going to be super strong when we go up. That's all we can do. We're trying to find the leverage on the bull market because in the bear market, unfortunately, everything gets destroyed. So when we're looking at these, we've got to remember that it's almost like the earlier you peaked, the better because you've had more times to wash out. Now, ChainLink has peaked super early. ChainLink didn't rally to do anything good at the end of 2021. It was pretty much what we all call a scam, okay? So maybe this is a sign of strength and friendship when we go forward. However, if we look at Hex, for example, Hex unfortunately rallied late into 2021, and people would say that this is a super market leader, etc. But in my experience, it's not. In my experience, what this means is you need more time to rinse weak hands. But like I said, this Pulse Chain sell the news event might be so devastating enough that when we go up, it's okay. In terms of we don't need to actually come back down and go down to these negative numbers. Because, I mean, the floor is the floor. We've pretty much... who is left? Like, you are down. I mean, on this chart, okay? And look, just want to remind you, even though this chart says minus 99%, we know, to be intellectually honest, the real combined price is about 2 point something, 2.1 cents here. So we know this chart. We know it's about 2.4 cents. We should be up here. So yes, the real chart should be there. So effectively, it should have like come around near a double bottom. But what I've learned from markets is when you look at the chart, you have to imagine yourself as the weakest hand. They don't think rationally. They think with fear. They have crumpled slippers, brown, cracked, crumbling. They can't even bear to walk on them anymore. So even though we know that the real price is, say, only down, for example, 96%, when you look at this chart, there are people with weak hands. They can't take it anymore. This is why they're selling. They're not looking at this rational number. They are just looking at minus 99%. They're like, it's done. I better go into something else. It's over. It's over. So markets reflect the emotions in these charts. So we will get to see how this plays out in the future. But really, at the end of the day, you now see why I am thinking about the year 2025. Always, friends, always. I don't know where we're going to be. I hope we're much, much higher. We could be anywhere here. Now, I understand, unfortunately, yes, when we're going up to the top, I had the box up to the very, very top. But now you see, look, I'm just being honest, to have minus 99%, it's rough. It's rough. You now have seen 99%, like we have a lot of weak hands here who are buying. Like they're going to add so much sell pressure at 17x, 20x, 30x, 40x, 50x. They're going to be there. And then we have to worry about the challenge of the Bitcoin spot ETF and how much scamming they're going to do to stop the Bitcoin bull run. Is Bitcoin only going to stop at 85K, send the rest of the market down? We've got to consider all of these. Now you see why it's super important. You got to buy in the depression. Crypto is diminishing so much that even buying in this mid zone, you get pretty much scammed. That's how rough it is. You literally can only buy in the depression, and you already know this. So we only have one sample size to go through, really, when it comes to these altcoins, but I like it. And you could also make the case that because we dropped 99% for every altcoin back then, that because we didn't do it that deeply this time, that we're going to have a bit of friendship and kindness. That's true. It's possible, but in my experience, time is still important. You can't fudge the time. So no matter what you do, no matter what reason you say, you're still going to need this 800 days. We're still going to need it. We're still going to need these, what we call, this 1,155 days to actually get back to the all-time high. 1,150 days is pretty good. If we go back and we quickly check Hex, for example, let's say if we actually repeated the last cycle, we don't have any additional time to break it. 1,150 days. Here we go. That would mean an all-time high revisit around November 2024. But times are so dire, we don't even really care about 50 cents. Like most people just care about 20 cents. In fact, we just want to get back to 10 cents at this point. Like we're bargaining and reasoning with the Grim Reaper. 1,150 days. Also interesting, if we go back to ChainLink, I'd like to see, because ChainLink, remember, peaked earlier, I'd like to see when 1,150 days would bring it, and then that would bring it about to, here we go, June 2024. That's 1 year. I mean, you see, friends, this is markets. You're going to have to do this. You just have to start going up only anytime soon. Of course, crypto has done it before, but look, at the end of the day, you can't tell me that you didn't have a chance to accumulate. It's been death and destruction and depression for so long. When we get happy, they're not going to be the buys of a lifetime anymore. Your reward and your multiplier is going to go down. So now you've seen a look at the big picture, friends. Even though Bitcoin is rallying, and yes, it's got a time in the light right now, we know ultimately where the weak hands are going to enter. No weak hands are going to be entering Bitcoin because they know it's not going to change their life. That has no chance of changing their life. I believe, and you also know, that the weak hands are going to come for the altcoins because that's where the casino is. That's where the real fun is. That's where the thin liquidity is. That's where the faster updates. That's where the action is. So all we can do is pray and hope that we are positioned correctly. But at the end of the day, as long as we got our friendship, we're going to make it together. Tell mum and dad, don't puke your position. We still love you. Get back in if you have, because we're still going to make it. Like, subscribe, press the belly button and all. I'll catch you in the next one.